Name's Chuck Daughtrey. I am the owner of coppercoins.com. I'm here to show you guys what I know as we go through some coins. So am I showing up live to everybody because I'm showing myself in a traveling circle? What about you, Alan? Can you hear me and see me and everything's working okay? Hello, hello. I think I should be doing okay. I mean, it looks relatively healthy, but it's showing that I don't have any viewers. And it actually says that I have 5 viewers now. Okay. So, Yo Man says he can see me. Joe Cathy's here. I can get started. How's that sound? Alright, I'm doing great, guys. And, let's see. Oh, I need to shut this off. Okay, that's what's going on. I had it doubled up on my screen. Not a good thing. Okay, there's Jim Fletcher. He's here. Now we can start, right? Alright, so I got this 1955 D roll here. It's a Chicago Fed roll. Gonna open up my Chicago Fed roll here, pour it out, and see what we've got. One coin at a time. My coffee now sits about 4 feet away from me. So if I want to drink a coffee, I actually have to interrupt this broadcast for an important message. We interrupt this broadcast for a special report. Remember back when special reports were really special? Or when they came on the news in the evening, they didn't say breaking news as the first 2 words every single broadcast. Breaking news, man, when you heard them say breaking news, it had to be something important. But now, no, breaking news could be Cuomo has another accuser. That's not breaking news. That's stuff I don't want to hear about. Don't care. Don't even care enough to care. I didn't care enough to pretend like I care. Alright. You guys are making me nervous. You're not saying anything. There's Spike Ted Die Crack. And coin number 1. Let's see who it goes to. BR Chef. Haven't seen BR Chef around in a week or so. And let's see. It's the first coin in the roll, so it's kind of difficult because it's a little dusty. So let me take some of this dust off of it. Very clean Q-tip, just roll it around on the surface, it picks that dust up. Okay, now I can see things a little bit better, and I can report to you that this one tends to be a normal coin here. Take a look at the other side. There's John. Hey, how you doing, John? And we don't really know of anything on the reverse side of 1955 D Lincoln Cents. It's mostly for the obverse. We got a really nice doubled I, doubled die. Then we have a few other really minor doubled I, double dies. And then we have a number of nice repunchment marks. And that's about what we should expect for 1955. That's about it. Yep, big double die and jacket. That is the DDO1 or FS101 for 1955D. This one's Joe Cathy. Second coin in the roll. Let's see what we pick up. Looks like the same die as the previous coin. Cut my light down just by a hair here. There we go. Help us see what we are doing here. You know, I unfortunately have not found anything on this coin. Let's take a look at the reverse. We'll do about the first 10 coins on the reverse. Flip them over and take a look at the reverse side and see if there's anything on them. If we find anything within the first 10 coins, we'll do the remainder of the roll that way. Otherwise, we'll just move on. Hello, Donna. Nice to have you here today. Hope everything's going well your way. I was up that direction a few days ago. I'll be making regular trips up there if you want to get together sometime. Maybe for a lunch or even maybe dinner, I don't know. Or if you don't, that's fine too. I just thought I'd like to meet up with you sometime. Alright, got another normal 1955 D right here. Driving home from Wilkes County. Wilkes County, isn't that up northeast? Like up toward Elizabeth City? Isn't that up in that direction? And here's number 4. Mr. Bill Cresson. Does anybody know whatever happened to Wild Bill? Why doesn't he come around anymore, I wonder? A few people who have more or less disappeared over time. Benjamin Marler, Wild Bill, Taco John, Maxie B's. What's Maxie B's? Is that a food place? Did I already look at the obverse on this one? Talking too much. I can't hear myself think. Can't think while I got my flapper open. Whether I'm talking or hammering down food, either way I don't think. I just do. Northwest. Up toward Boone. Okay. Are you coming down from the mountains? This one's a really nice shiny one. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that it's going to turn out to be anything, but it is nice and shiny. Slightly weak strike. You can see how the O is a little more shallow on the top left side than it is on the bottom right. That's that area that's just opposite the thickest part of the shoulder on the design on the other side, which is why it generally comes out a little bit weak if you have a typical strike. It takes a very strong strike to make that O come out very even nice all the way around. In some of the earlier years, it's actually a lot more difficult to come out with than on some of the later years. Party Pickle comes out with coin number 6. Here is coin number 6. And I'm still looking for our first good die variety in this roll. Haven't seen anything yet. Nothing has jumped out and said, here I am. Ta-da! Collectible die variety right here. Not squat. Or in the words of the late and wonderful comedian from Saturday Night Live, Chris Farley, I haven't found jack squat. Here we go. Oh. Top of the day to you, Wendy. Wendy, Wanda, Wendy. Wanda, I Wanda. So you think that's what it is? People just kind of leave the hobby and then they come back? I don't know. I don't know that feeling. I've been involved in this since I was 5 years old. And here I am, still. The only kind of break I ever took from it was about 1.5 years as I was going through the first stages of being in the military. I went through the first few stages of being in the military and a military career. You're a lot more concerned with your training and your specialty than you are in collecting coins. My coins kind of went in a box for a few years. After a few years in the military, I was able to go over to the credit union on base and pick up rolls of pennies, and that's where I got started up again. There's time, dog. Good gosh, I'm picking up nothing here. Yo man. I need to check. I don't think I've shipped your package. That would be a bad one on me. I'll throw some extra stuff in there and ship it to you Monday. Sorry about that, brother. No, no coins in boot camp. No coins there, that's for sure. But yo man, I'll get you a package out tomorrow. I did some baseball cards in the military, and that was about the period of time that those were more popular. I did them for about a year or two. And then I started diving back into coins. I think, yo man, what I started to do is I started in on packaging your shipment, and then I got distracted, and it's still in the box, I think. I'll have to go look at it, but I'm pretty sure that's where it is. I don't remember sending it out. It's going to be a kind of a heavy padded flat rate envelope. Adam Chambers. But it looks like, unfortunately, we're going to end up with the possibility, maybe, of a dud roll here, too. You never know when you get started what you're going to end up with. It's until you end up with it. Then you know. It's kind of like the whole thing where you try to pay an exact change, and if it's, say, like $1.35, and you give them $2, they're always going to give you the change back that you would have been able to use to pay exact change to begin with. You ever think about that? Sireg. So it's like you had a quarter or two in your pocket. You needed to pay 64 cents. You just give them the extra $1. You got your quarter or two, then you've got dime and pennies too. See, that's kind of how that works. I think we are back-to-back duds. This is not a good thing. Not a good thing. Not finding anything in this roll so far. We're up to 12 coins. Going on coin number 13 now. And coin number 13 goes to Yo Man. Of course, that's if I ship it out. Here is Yo Man's coin. He has a nose ring. Oh no, that's just a thread. So I didn't think nose ring was a thing back in 1860s. Colorful cardboard rarely holds its value juxtaposed to coins. You know, that actually tends to be true. So I had quite a collection of cards at one point in time. And, well, I gave them up during a divorce, and I would not pay anything to have them back. There's no interest. Doug Walters. I know a few other people who are big in the coin industry who used to be, like, card dealers or card collectors. A lot of the people decided that when it was time to jump ship from the cards, they'd move over to coins. All I did was move back to coins, because I did cards for a long time. I collected cards. Now, I would still like to have some of the sets I had from back in the early mid-70s, because they were real baseball players back then. You know, you look up to them. Over the past 20-25 years, the real baseball players have dwindled in number. And the wannabe famous kids who won't step on a field for under $1 million a year, Yeah, those are being very common now. Very, very common. Alright, that's Adam Chambers, coin number 15. Moving on to coin number 16 now. See what we have on coin number 16. This is Yasser Al-Manasir. And same bad luck as before. Halo, Bill. Same bad luck as before. Yasser's coin turns out to be the 16th normal coin in this roll. Now, coin number 17, Alan Hargraves. Let's see how Alan does. Well, there ourselves pretty much what's a normal coin again. Never good to run into a roll like this, especially when you're doing a live broadcast with it. But I do the best I can. When you pick out a roll that's an original wrapped roll from the Chicago Fed Reserve Bank, I mean, how could you do any better without knowing what's inside? I can see this if somebody was going through a whole bunch of searched rolls and doing this, that it would be a bad thing. But you'd pick up pretty quickly on that because, well, they wouldn't be finding anything at all in any of their rolls. Surprise, surprise. Then immediately they would come out selling the very thing that you think you should have expected in the rolls that they went through. Well, never a good thing. You have to watch the quantity, the number of different dies that people are finding in a roll with regard to whether or not that roll is original. An original roll is usually never going to have more than about 10 different die pairs. So if you see more than 10 different die pairs in a roll, it's time to start calling it into question, especially when you're 10 different die pairs, none of whom have any real value. I mean, nothing is there. No double dies, no repunchment marks, no nothing. Now, if you saw that once, it's excusable. Because, you know, they don't mint die varieties just to be found. They actually did not intend on minting one ever. But they did. Jeff Dunn. Oh, wait a minute. That's... flip it over that way. There we go. Just had to get my brain in gear. There we go. Jeff Dunn. Jeff Dunn comes out with a nice earlier die state coin. But... no doubling that I can see. So that'll be coin number 22. Or 21, I'm sorry, 21. Now number 22. Yo, man. Yo, man. 1955D. And this one appears to be the same die I've seen a few different times already. And nothing there. Now number 23. 23 is BR Chef. And it's got a little bit of a split upper serif right there. And a little bit of a split lower serif also, it does appear. I'm going to hold this one out just in case, because I think there might be something to this one. We're going to catch a marker here if we can. See what, if any kind of marker I can find to use. Those big old die scratches right above the head below God. Yeah, that'll have to work. That's all I can find in a pinch right now. There's that one vertical die scratch next to the one of the date. Man, that's so hard to see. Don't know if this coin was in any different condition, if I could find more or if I could find a lot less. So I just take it with all the most major markers I can find. So you got these die scratches up above the head, below God. That's going to be our primary marker to use for this one to see if we can identify other coins to this die. Well, I appreciate that, Spiked Head Die Crack. Yeah, Wanda gets coin number 24 now. I've been working most of my life in this, so the things I know have come from years and years of studying, gleaning other people's work, and studying on my own, finding things and dealing with things and talking to people and going to shows and traveling the country, and that's pretty toning. I like it. All sorts of things. Oh, Wanda gets a pretty nice looking toner there. It looks like the Hamburglar. I don't even know why I came up with that, but he does. Wanda gets the Hamburglar variety. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff on Facebook, and some of it's good, and some of it's good material, and some of it's just not. And I hope everyone has the ability to kind of filter through the junk to get to the good stuff, because there's plenty of good stuff out there. But there's plenty of junk too. Just like on YouTube. There's a number of different channels that are good channels with useful information and educated people who can give you assistance in whatever you need. And then there are other channels where people are just using real poofy titles to show a bunch of clickbait to get you to click on their stuff so they can earn money, and that's all they're there for. They don't care about anything else. Greetings, Stonecutter. Greetings and salutations. Our site and CoinOp, the only two you go to. Blue Ridge Silverhound does a good job. Blue Ridge Silverhound is a pretty good guy. Coins for Amateurs is also a good place to go. The Coin Q&A with Paula Bloom and the casting crew there, they're really good at what they do too. So there's a number of pretty good channels out there. I don't really like to name the ones that I don't like, the ones that are bad information. I just don't want to get into any beef with anybody, because this isn't a place where a beef is a good thing. And so I will talk to anyone privately about it. If you want to know what I think are the least useful places on Facebook or YouTube, I can let you know, but I'm not going to do it on a broadcast. The videos that Blue Ridge Silverhound produces are actually very good videos. I think he does a weekly update. Enjoyable watching. I'm going to start something new as soon as I can get myself caught up from a whole bunch of other things. But I'm going to go ahead and start that program that I had said quite some time ago that I was going to be doing. It's a show that I will go through and answer people's questions visually that they send in through email. So you send me an email and you say, I'm seeing a lot of doubling on the top of Liberty on 1955 Lincoln cents. What do you think about that? And I'll go through and I'll teach you that it's master die doubling. You got master die doubling on the tops of almost all 1955 Lincoln cents on the top of the letters of Liberty. This is a normal thing, and you can just put the coin back wherever it was because it's not a double die. Now I'll answer that question and move on to another question, and I'll probably do 3 or 4 questions per show And it will be a 15 to 20 minute long show, not a very long one. I will not have live participation. I'll be doing these as recordings. And if you have questions, then you can submit. Oh, Paula left the shows? I didn't know that. But you can submit your questions to me, cd@coppercoins.com, and I will consider them for inclusion in a show. But I've got a few other things that I have to take care of before I can get into doing that. So is anyone doing the Coin Q&A show anymore, or is it dead? So I didn't know one way or the other. I haven't watched it in months. Here's Sir Egg. Oh boy. Not good when you have two duds in a row. Not good at all. This isn't good for business. It isn't good for timing. Yeah, see, all of our rolls this week have been duds, so come by Tuesday and buy your spot in next week's rolls because they're sure to be better than the duds we had this week. I can't really say that. Never can I say that. This is an RPM. Yeah, it's an RPM. There it is right there. You can see it on the vertical bar right there. Doubling on the left edge of it. So there you go. That is an RPM. And Wanda will take home this RPM. And what do we have for markers? Do we have anything worthwhile for a marker here? Not really seeing anything other than the doubling on the mint mark itself. I mean, I'll be able to find markers, but it's not like ones that are going to be easy to see with this scope. So I'll just set it aside for Wanda, and if I find anything else like it, I'll set it aside too, and I'll have to go through the rest of the roll again anyway, just to be sure I'm not missing anything. And here's one for Eric. And Eric Beyer gets a normal coin here. If you're listening out there on the road, hey, how you doing? Be safe and take care of yourself. Anybody who happens to be listening while driving, be sure you do so and don't inhale. Oh, wait a minute. No, that was a different thing. Yeah. I think when you're driving, you do want to inhale. Because if you don't inhale, you stop driving, and it's not a good thing. Let's see, here's coin number 35. This one's going to go to Marshall. Let's see what we have for Marshall. Nothing going on there. Not such a beautiful roll. I mean, the coins are in good shape, but man, they've got some beat up design features, and that's through die wear. And we've got very few die varieties that I can see now. That doesn't mean they're not there. It just means I've got to go through the rest of the roll again. I'll go through it under the big microscope so that I can see everything that's going on there. But this is going to be after our final reveal of the day. Our final reveal of the day, I believe, comes up at 5 o'clock. It's about an hour from now. Score number 37, Yo Man. That one's going to be a 1954S roll. 1954S. It is taped shut and has been taped shut for decades. So I have no idea what's inside. I have no idea what grade is inside, but from the edge, the roll looks pretty good. So I figured, well, this is one that's pretty high in RPMs generally, so we'll see what we can do there, finding us something good. So hopefully this next roll that I do coming up at 5 p.m. is not a dud. I'll be doing 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central, Jessica will have her auction. I invite all of you to show up there. She's going to have some good stuffs, she says. Stuffs are going to be awesome sauce. Minimum speed on the highway is 40 miles per hour. Well, yeah, but 40 miles per hour is a relative term. Because I tell you what, when I get into being medicated, yeah, 40 miles per hour seems a lot faster than it really is. Of course, I don't drive that way, but it is still a possibility once in a while that I might actually know what it feels like, but not to drive. Boy, everything, weather and my time of day yesterday was just off. I kind of had a little tweak in my brain from the time I woke up till the time I went to bed yesterday. It just wasn't a good day. Had a lot of hard times today, and yesterday my hard times weren't physical. I wasn't in pain. I'm not, it's not I'm not crazy. Well, I know I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested. But they weren't like severe mental issues or anything. It's more just a bad day. Everybody has their opportunity to have a bad day. That's what the back roads are for. You'd rather kill yourself on a back road where you're not found very high, like within a week, rather than crashing on the interstate where you crash and burn and kill 3 dozen people, yet they know exactly where you are. Five-hour round trip. That should have been a 2.5 hour. You haven't driven in a year. Did you happen to warn the sheriff's office before you were taking out to go close all the roads on your route so you would be alone? I drive alone. The voice I would love to be. Voice I would love to be. Morgan Freeman. That man's got a character and a way of talking that is legendary. Just legendary. Other than him, the only other person who's ever talked and has completely captured my attention was Paul Harvey. But his way of talking was more a storytelling way. He was more of a, well, straight up storyteller. He wasn't much of a conversationalist as much as Morgan Freeman is. Morgan Freeman had a way of saying something that as soon as you hear him say what he had to say, it had a lot of meaning. And you never expected it that way. I mean, you kind of do, because you always kind of expect Morgan Freeman to have something to say that's intelligent. But what he says and how he says it hits you as a surprise every time, because you never really expect it to be that way. It's just strange. I like Morgan Freeman for his candor and his way of carrying out what he says, but as for voice in itself, I don't know. I think, let's see. I'm having trouble with his name. Who's the guy that voiced Darth Vader? What was his name? I've got it right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember what it was. Oh boy, I hate it when this happens to me. I can't remember the guy's name. As soon as I see it or hear it, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, James Earl Jones. Yeah, I knew that. Just had no real good idea at the moment how to spit that out of my mouth, you know. Did you know that James Earl Jones had a father who was an actor as well? And if you've ever seen the movie The Sting, the one with Robert Redford and Paul Newman, well, James Earl Jones' father is in that. His father is an actor in that movie. You can tell because he looks a lot like James Earl Jones and he sounds a lot like James Earl Jones. It's because it's his father. Yeah. James, I am your father. You knew that was coming. Every single second of it. You knew that was coming. I can't remember his name, though. I think it might be Robert Jones. I can't remember. If somebody can look up the film credit title, whatever, to The Sting, 1973 or 75. You'll find there's a guy with the last name of Jones in that movie. And that's James Earl Jones' father. Richard or Robert, something like that. I don't remember. You saw it at the movies when it came out. You're older than I am. Alright, last coin in the roll, Sissy Atwell. You guys are all going to get a pretty nice looking 1955 D Lincoln cent, but not a one of them turned out to be a variety. Well, there's a couple of really minor ones that I'll have to look at and see about a little bit later on. And I will go back through the roll and look for them again. Other examples of the same die. But, so for technical purposes only, this is what we have. We have two minor varieties here. One's number 33 and one's number 23. The number 23 goes to Be Our Chef. Number 33 is Wanda. There you go, Robert Earl Jones. Well, it kind of makes sense, right? James Earl Jones, Robert Earl Jones. But if you watch the movie The Sting, or you watch the part that Robert Earl Jones is in, you will very quickly see that there's no question that's his father. Alright, there we go. Done for the roll. And that's what we have. I appreciate it, folks. You guys are a wonderful audience, even though I'm sometimes not very exciting. But I will be back in about 45 minutes with our last roll for the, last reveal roll for the day. That's going to be this one right here. It is a 1954 S roll that has very, very dry masking tape on it. Been there for a long time. It is not cut. Still completely sealed shut. The coins look pretty nice. So I don't think there will be any problem with the coins. So join me here at 5 o'clock. We'll get on that roll. And I appreciate it, folks. You guys be wonderful, great, and I will see you at 5.